Hey there my fellow Koopalings, I'm Yoshi on the Go, welcome back to the channel. In this video we're looking at a ton of interesting and just lovely details that I noticed while playing Pikmin 4. And of course the first detail is can't start a Pikmin game without a crash. Double shipwrecks may be rare unless you're playing a Pikmin game, then it's a guarantee. And for the first time ever, there's a character customization, which I love. It's a lot of fun to play around with. I ultimately ended up with this guy. Then of course when jumping in for the first time, we immediately notice, if you played Pikmin before, is the perspective shift. We're now down on the ground. Now we can change the camera anytime. Being down here under these giant leaves is a pleasure. Also, caves are back, which makes me very happy. Caves are my favorite aspect of Pikmin, and the reason why Pikmin 2 is still my favorite Pikmin game, but can Pikmin 4 overtake that? Time will tell. And it's already off to a good start. The cave design is phenomenal. This one in particular, like look, we're in a freaking terrarium. Are we in a restaurant, in an aquarium? I'm not sure, but I love the environments in this cave and all the other caves. They did a killer job with all the cave designs. So an extra huge shout out to all of these cave art people. You guys killed it. Next up, one of my favorite things about Pikmin 2 is the treasure collecting. That game has a lot of older Nintendo treasures that you can collect, which I never really had any of that stuff. And so for the first time ever, I was just thrilled to see basically the first treasure we collect is this Game Boy SP, which is something that I actually have. I don't have the blue one, I've got a lime green one and the Pikachu edition, but it's awesome that throughout this entire game, there's a ton of modern Nintendo treasures and other treasures that I actually have and own. Another thing I noticed is that this game is definitely made in the modern day, and there's a lot of modern references. For example, Russ the scientist is using a 3D printer to make things when you mine the clay-like material. Another interesting detail is that we actually start off with a lot less Pikmin. In all the other games, your onion always just holds 100 Pikmin, but in this one you actually have to collect little other onions to add to it, and it increases the capacity. I like this because it's an interesting way to manage resources. One other thing that you notice immediately, also when seeing the trailer, is that this takes place in just someone's house and backyard, which I love that. I actually wrote a letter to Nintendo way back, I don't even know, 2004, 2005, 2006, I don't remember, telling them, look, I want to play a Pikmin game where I explore someone's house. I'm gonna have to find that letter to prove it, and I'll make a video about that later, but I just love the location. We've always had hints that we're on Earth, and now it's official, we're literally in someone's house and front yard and backyard. One thing that I noticed that I didn't understand at first is whenever you take an enemy or a flower pellet, the majority color is what sprouts from that onion, but no matter what I did, it was always red. I'm like, what the heck? And the reason why is that it starts off default with the red onion until you find other colors, and then they fuse together and you can start propagating or growing more of that color of Pikmin. Speaking of propagation, there's a new pluck sound for Pikmin that I really like. In addition to that, there's some awesome underwater effects. Next up is the bitter spray, which was introduced in Pikmin 2. They changed it in a big new way where this time around, any Pikmin that's out on the field will feel the effects of this spray. They don't have to be just right with you in your party. They can be across the map and still be affected. Also interesting detail is that when you spray them right before you jump into a cave or right before sunset, there is no animation, so that electrified spray animation does not carry over in the sunset scene or when you're jumping into a cave. And speaking of sunsets, we get night missions for the first time in Pikmin, which is a huge deal because for decades, literally, all Pikmin players have known how dangerous it is to go out at night, but now we get to do these night missions. However, the gameplay is a little bit different. This is a new gameplay loop for Pikmin 4. It's literally just a tower defense mode. You gotta last the night, you gotta collect these glow Pikmin, you gotta collect these star bits, and it's a good time. Unfortunately, the glow Pikmin do not stay with you once the sun comes up, but you do get these glow seeds that you can use in night missions and in caves, which is a nice touch. Glow Pikmin are cute. In the Serene Shores map, right at the stroke of noon, the map changes. The tide goes out, and it completely changes how you explore the map. You no longer need only blue Pikmin for certain areas. That's a fantastic idea. We've never really seen that in a Pikmin game before. It reminds me a lot of the Pokemon games, like in Black and White with the changing tides in the sewer system, as well as Pokemon Ruby and Sapphire with the changing tides in the ice caves. is pretty cool. And coming back to caves again, the engulfed castle is almost a exact copy to the very same Pikmin 2 map that introduces the Wraith for the first time. The Wraith is super scary, it's indestructible unless you have purple Pikmin, and it squishes all of your Pikmin instantly, so you gotta get out of there fast. However, you can use it to your advantage to squish all the other enemies so you don't even have to fight them, which I think is a kind of a funny detail. So previously in all the other Pikmin games, if you messed up really bad or killed a lot of Pikmin, you could easily just restart the day or restart the level, but now it's just an official feature. Nintendo just built in a rewind, and instead of restarting the whole day, you have the option to go back a couple of minutes. This is one detail that I thought it was a glitch at first. Occasionally, Pikmin will get stuck and they'll go around in circles aimlessly, seemingly forever, I guess. Actually, if you know anything about the development, or at least the early development of Pikmin, you know that Shigeru Miyamoto based Pikmin off of ants. And there are occasions when ants will actually display the same exact behavior. So some people call it the death circle. Basically, they're tracking the ant in front of them, which is tracking the ant in front of them, and somehow their pheromone trail that they use to find their way gets lost or washed away or something, so they just march in a circle until they die. From a gameplay perspective, it's a little frustrating, but from a detail perspective, this video is all about the dirty little details. It's incredible. Alright, something else that I noticed is that Pikmin are very playful. If you are standing around and go idle for a little bit, especially the rock Pikmin and the ice Pikmin, they're very playful and they like playing with Ochi. And back to caves yet again. I tell you guys, caves are incredible in this. You can actually pick which sub-level to go to. So for example, if you want to mine some purple Pikmins, there's 2 flowers which give you 10 Pikmin right off the bat. Previously, you'd have to play through all 5 levels and then escape. In this case, you can just zip right to the last level, get your purple Pikmin, and then leave. That's a great gameplay mechanic. I like that a lot because it respects the gamer's time. Alright, well that's just a handful of the incredible details that I've noticed while playing Pikmin 4. Actually, there's going to be a part 2 because there's a whole lot more, but before we get to that, we're going to end the video with the craziest boss battle I have ever experienced, at least in the past few years. Well, alright, that's the video. Thanks so much for watching. We'll catch you in the next one. Consider subscribing. I appreciate the view. Bye!